Welcome to the Acelith Design Endurance Championship Season 2, Round 1 in Tier 1. We're here at Tokyo East in the Group 1 combined class. This includes our LMPs, our VGTs and our Group C cars, all battling out on one track to see which is fastest. So, it's the opening round of Season 2, and it's wide open for the championship this season. Season 1 champion Plux the Duck is not taking part this season, and we're currently riding on board with Spooky Lukey. So we're going to see what he can do in the Mazda LM55. We'll be going through all our runners and riders before qualifying. It's about 1 minute to go, so we'll start with Spooky Lukey. He had a very good season, took 2 wins in Season 1 in the Audi TT Group 4 and also in the Group 2 race at Dragon Trail Seaside 2. And it really was an impressive run from Spooky Lukey, who of course got second in the championship thanks to that impressive debut in the top tier. He's currently P2 on the standings, with Gadget currently in P1. So we'll quickly move over to our third place driver in Season 1, who's just jumped back. We'll just get a view of his car. That is the newly re-signed TX3 Jack, who was part of Zephyx. He's moved over. He was the defending champion in Season 1. And unfortunately had a little bit of a down season for himself. But he only taking the 1 win at Red Bull Ring in the Group 3 Mercedes. But he'll hoping to be bouncing back. But definitely was a little bit of a down season for him. So we're just going to jump out of the qualifier quickly. Oh no, we're back in. We're going to be riding aboard with Gadget to start with. Let's start with Gadget, Series Creator and Season 2 2020 Tier 1 champion. And he's again in the Mazda LM55. This is probably the car to be in tonight, as it is a very strong car. And he's going out on the super soft tyres, unsurprisingly, as it's qualifying, 15-minute qualifying session here. Lap times are going to be in qualifying in the low 37s, high 36s for the VGT class. In the LMP cars, the pace is a bit slower due to the lack of top speed. They'll be great through this middle twisting section, but unfortunately won't have that straight line speed required. So look for them to be around 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds slower. And we're going to go on board with... Oh, we're not. We've pushed the wrong button. We're not going to go on board yet. We're going to stay exterior shot with Gadget as he sets up for his first lap, followed by Spooky Lukey, and he'll be wanting to get into that toe nice and early. Set himself up to get a good slingshot, stay just outside the toe to start with, and then slingshot past down that main straight and try and get far enough away that Gadget can't repeat the manoeuvre after. Then we've got Bubo Lubo, who had a bit of an up and down season. He's gone very wide, and a bit of contact there between himself and Ronin. And we'll talk about Ronin shortly. He had a good season in Tier 2. I think he was third, and our third of 4 drivers to come up to Tier 1. Behind him is, like I said, was Ronin, and he's actually got a car which is an LMP. It's the old 908, and that could be quite strong. Definitely's got better top speed than the other LMP cars. It doesn't quite have that ultimate top speed, but he could be quite fast. Good balance of overall, that car. Then we've got, like I said, TX3 Jack, and then we have Jev Kuska. Second place overall in Tier 2 last season. Moves up into the top tier now. We're going to be missing, unfortunately, Blue Racer, Tier 2 champion, as he did not manage to get himself on the entry list in terms of Gadget's friend list and therefore won't be able to enter the lobby to race tonight. Akuska is going to have a difficult battle tonight in the TSO50. A great car usually, but again, another one of those cars. It's an LMP, it's going to struggle here. So, if we can bring up... Why are we getting that? I just need to work out what's going on here. I'm getting a few issues with the chat function popping up instead of getting the keyboard function, so we're just going to step out and come back in and see if we can get it. I know why the problem is. Excuse me all, I just need to turn that on. There we go, a little bit of unprofessionalism there. I forgot to push the right button. But there we go, Gadget 334. He'll be starting us off with a 138.270 and is currently the fastest of everybody, just ahead of TX3 Jack, who looks like he's going to have a better lap this time. With a little bit of slipstream, we're just going to quickly jump into chat just to see who sent us a message, so please stand by. And we are... So, well, thank you very much, Gary. I'm not afraid of any 13-year-old. I just needed a season off after a fairly long and continued battle at the front. It's a well-earned break for myself. I'm enjoying getting to watch everyone else. Oh, TX3 Jack there, hitting the wall hard, and that's damage. That's the end of that qualifying run. And damage is going to be really, really sensitive tonight. A lot of very tight, close walls in very fast cars, and it's going to be very difficult to keep on top. So we're going to try and get back round to where we were on the grid. So we'll come over to Jaggernet now. He had an up and down season, a couple of interesting car choices, had some great recovery drive. The recovery drive at Spa was fantastic, and I'm really liking this new green and white livery that he's got on the TSO50. So we'll see how he does, but of course he's going to be in that kind of Class B battle tonight, where the LMP hybrids are just not going to have that top speed requirement. We move down one more, and that is Bottle Job in the Made for Bottling entry. Bottle had a very up and down season again, could have taken a win at Dragon Trail, but made a couple of fateful errors near the end. But definitely his overall level really was raised over the course of the season. So he'll be looking to build upon that. But again, tonight's going to be a difficult one for him, as he's not in the correct car for the job. But this car should be much better at Saint Croix C. And we've also got Berkey Baby in the pits right now, so we'll try and get a nice view of that car at some point. Oh, it's just coming out on track now, so we'll go on with the we'll go with staying above. So Berkey Baby set a best of a 1:42 so far, and it's 4 seconds off the top time so far, which is currently held by Spooky Lukey. And we'll go on board with the drivers with approximately 5 minutes left of the session to watch a really fast flying lap, just as we get to the hottest part of the of qualifying. Oh, and he's clouted the wall at T1, so he'll be back in the pits. So we'll move down to Muller. Muller, one of the old stalwarts of the Stoutwards. Old timers of the season, let's say. He's been here since the very first race. He always tries to... it's kind of one of our few remaining, let's say, gentleman drivers from the original Tier 1 group. And definitely always a quick driver, but not always the best at sprint style racing, and very much one of those who was very pleased that the pit stop timers moved back towards much longer pit stops. He again is in that TSO50, so look for him in that Class B battle. And we'll try and look at, let's see who we can look for the Class B pole sitter. So let's say Sir Bottle Job currently is the Class B pole sitter, but currently it is Spooky on... oh, he's just been... Sorry, DJ Rice. He was our last person. I completely forgot about DJ Rice. DJ Rice with a 37.8. Looks like he might have got a small toe out of Ronin, but DJ Rice was actually the last person up to Tier 1. He came 4th in Tier 2. He was the last person we were going to talk about, just because of the finishing order, but he's currently on pole, so let's have a little ride on board of the Mazda driver. If we hit K, we can ride on board with him. I'm still learning these keyboard shortcuts, I will admit. And a fantastic lap time for DJ Rice as we head now in through the fast chicane. The LM55 is a very, very capable car with a four-wheel drive system and that screaming rotary engine. He's actually a tenth up on himself if he can nail this final section of the track. Keep it off the wall, but he's looking mighty fast. 8 gears in this car, up to around 225 miles an hour on that main straight, so we'll watch for that in a minute. Down into the hairpin, it's crucial to get a good exit out of here. Is he going to go for the wider or the tighter line? Gets it slowed down well here. Ricey was actually pretty good here in the wet last year in Group 3 until a couple of unfortunate errors, but had great pace. He's 2 tenths up on himself, and he already has 10th or so up on TX3 Jack. So here we go, heading down towards the finishing stripe. What we're going to get this time from DJ Rice, and he does. He improves by 3 tenths. That's 37.488 in the Mazda LM55. That is fantastic pace. So let's see if JJ can respond. He's on a slow lap at the moment. Let's look at Lukey. He's in traffic, but he is on a lap. Is he getting a tow out of this? Let's see what his sector times are like. We pull up. Oh, wrong button. There we go. So his gap is around 7 tenths, or just under 7 tenths. So we'll have to see what he can do. Is he trying to set himself up a lap? But Ricey doing a great job. Really, the start of the show, no one had really kind of thought of Ricey as he is newly up into Tier 1 and hadn't set poles or anything in Tier 2, but always a handy driver and is really showing it here in that Mazda. Really coming back into Tier 1 with some with a splash at this point. Spooky trying to hold it down the inside, not on a very good lap now, but let's see where he is. Berkey improves to a 1.8. But what a fantastic Mazda that is. Thank you, Gary, for the water machine. I'm not sure I can quite do it in the full original Clarkson. So we head down into turn 1 now. This is a difficult corner uphill, but Tier 2's even harder. Off camber downhill. Got to get on that power hard. Does really nicely in that 4-wheel drive LM55, giving him lots of confidence. Ricey has parked it for now. Is he going to come back out for one last assault? Or will he be setting his first Tier 1 pole? Oh, a little bit wide there for Lukey. That's not a good line. And clips the wall. This lap's over. He's going to have to regroup and go for another one. Go on with the car information. Trying to get them both up at the same time, but it seems you can't, which is a bit of annoying. I'll come off the onboard now. Go back with the tree. Let's see if anyone else is on our lap time right now. Up the live time. See if anyone's on a good lap right now. Currently no one's setting anything purple. But currently it is DJ Rice in the Mazda LM55, followed by TX3 Jack in the SRT Tomahawk. Spooky Lukey, Gadget and Bubo follow from P3 down to P5, with Ronin in P6 in that Peugeot 908. Then in the Class B battle, we've got Kuska in 7th, Bottle in 8th, Berkey in 9th, Jag and that in 10th, and Muller in 11th. A couple of seconds off that pace. As we've got a wonderful look at a wall there. Thank you very much, Mr. Cameraman, for that. But Spooky has gone purple. So I was talking a load of rubbish, but Spooky currently purple. Can he dethrone Ricey at the top and make it a Mazda, all Mazda front row, which with the four-wheel drive system is actually going to give them a really good chance to stay ahead of TX3 Jack. And could we be looking for Spooky possibly getting his second pole in Tier 1 and possibly his third win in the top tier? He's only blue now. It's going to be tight. Ricey was really good through that sector. Let's see what happens as we head down towards, past the pit lane, up to the final line. He's going to get one more hot lap in. And he's not quite there. He's 3/10 off Ricey. So Ricey had an excellent final two sectors. Really put that lap together. Fantastic work by Ricey. No one so far is looking like he can keep up with him. So we go on board with TX3 Jack. I'm not sure if he's purple. It would have flashed up purple. Let's see where he's at. No, he's on a duff lap currently. I'm talking rubbish. Probably an outlap of some sort. It's 10 seconds off his best. So let's see what he can do on his final lap. Gadget, he's on an outlap. Timed that well, but not got a toe. Lubo's starting his final lap. Ronin has just started his. Kuska will get round to start his final lap. Bottle Job has also just started his final lap. Berkey is a couple of tenths down, and he won't quite get on another hot lap. Everyone so far, I believe, is running on the super soft tyres. Spooky's been held up on his final flying lap by Jaggernaut. Now, will he be able to get a toe? No, it looks like Jag's trying to get out of the way. That's going to have absolutely crucified Spooky's final attempt. And that gives Ricey a really good chance. Ricey's still in the pits, of course. He feels like that's the best lap he could possibly muster. Jack's a long way down, so it's looking like Ricey, probably the least likely. He's the driver who had the quote-unquote least impressive result, and Jack's throwing in the towel. Can Gadget put something together as we come through the sector? He's 10th and a half up. He's going to find 7/10, but there's a car in front he could use for a tow. Can Gadget manage to find his way past? TX3 Jack is on the soft tyres to start. That's a really important thing to note. Gadget getting a tow off of Bottle Job. Will Bottle Job be complicit and give him the tow, or will he get out of the way? Those two are not really in the same class, and it could actually prove interesting to see as we've now finished now. So we see who's finished their lap. Bubo does improve and jumps up to 4th position. So Gadget needs a better lap. He's only got a 10th and a bit to find. He's going to have a small toe off of Bottle Job if Bottle Job's still there, which he is. Bottle Job, who is not going to improve on his best lap. Does Gadget jump up? I don't think he did. No, he didn't improve in the end. So, but currently it is Ricey gonna be taking the pole, with Spooky not being able to get there. All of the top class cars in terms of the VGTs. But DJ Rice with the pole position. What an absolute stunner of the lap. It's such a shame we only caught the second half of it. What a fantastic lap there from DJ Rice. Muller has just popped in one last lap, so we're just going to take a look. That gives him, keeps him in 11th position, 4/10 behind Jaggernaut. Then Berkey, Sir Bottlejob, Kuska, Ronin, Gadget, Bubo, TX3 Jack, Spooky Lukey, and DJ Rice with his first pole position in Tier 1. What a fantastic drive there by Ricey. What a great lap. 10 seconds left, and we'll make sure we get the screenshot. But a great lap there by Spooky Lukey. And we missed the screenshot. Professional job there. Oh, we got that a little bit too early, but hopefully that will disappear. There we go. Screenshot got. So it is Ricey on pole. We'll switch to the standard cameras for the dynamic views. So it's Ricey on pole, Spooky in second, Jack in third, Revs are building. Here we go. A great launch by the Masters on the front row. Bubo's up to third. Will Gadget be able to get in behind? I'm going to switch to the variable camera now. And a great start by Kuska with the hybrid. Is he going to be able to get himself in the mix now as they head up towards around 280 miles an hour? We're going to switch over the settings. I've accidentally hit the wrong button, but it's racing with Spooky right alongside him into T1. 208 miles an hour into the first corner. Ricey defends the inside, but Spooky around the outside with Bubo right up behind them. Bubo's got to take this carefully. He can't. Oh, there's a little bit of contact, but they're all keeping out the wall. Let's run back down through the field. Looks currently like everyone got through clean, with TX3 Jack, the big loser, in that Dodge Tomahawk, not being able to keep with those Mazdas. It's an absolute pack of Mazdas now into the fast chicane. Does everyone keep it through? Okay, yes they do. It is Bubo Lubo in second place. Spooky up at the front. Oh, and it looks like there was some contact with the wall there from someone. I didn't quite see who it was, but there was some bobbing and weaving around. Ronin now in 7th position ahead of Bottle Job. After Bottle probably got him off the line. We didn't see the starting pack, but it is fairly as they were at the tail end of the first lap. So, as we go through the field after that first lap... Oh! Someone's made a mistake there. I didn't see who it was. Let's change those settings back over and see who fell down the order. It was TX3. Jack is down to 7th position, but there was a Mazda definitely out of position. It's Gadget. Gadget has possibly been hit. Let's see if he has damage. Yes, he does. He's got rear wing damage. So a calamity for Gadget 2 years in a row at the Tokyo hairpin. He's been hit from behind, got rear wing damage. He's going to be massively down in the straight line. He's still going to be amazingly faster than those LMP hybrids, and he's probably going to try and clear them, get back into the fight, and then pit for damage. But what an absolute calamity for Gadget, who was looking so good in this car. And now look at the understeer. That unbalanced aero, and he's going to have the hybrids all over him. Of course, you can deploy that hybrid power out of these slower corners and really bug him, because he's lost that top speed advantage. Back at the front, it's Spooky Lukey from Bubo Lubo. Ricey's down to third with damage. We did not see that. Let's see if we can find where the damage came from for Ricey. No, he had damage at that point. Let's see if maybe it was... No, unfortunately he had that damage, and we have no idea where it came from. So maybe there was damage on the right hand side. So it might have started at the beginning of the lap, but that's crucial. It really damaged his lap. So as we head back now on board with Spooky Lukey at the end of lap 2, and he's got a huge lead of 2.8 seconds and currently looking very strong there at the front. Bubo Lubo in the blue Rock Boy racing car. I can't actually remember what his official team name is off the top of my head. Rock and Roll Racing, sorry, not Rock Boy Racing. Apologies there for his sponsors. And it's Ronin up to P3. Where has this happened? Let's see if we can get a view of this. But what an absolutely fantastic run for Ronin, who's really defying the odds. Nothing really happening there, so we've missed that on screen, unfortunately. I apologise for that. And let's see through the order what we've got here. So it's Berkey and Jaggernaut, and then Gadget down in 10th position in probably the best car for the field. What an absolute shocker for Gadget. What a shame. Ronin is back behind Ricey now, who's making the best of that damage. Jack in P5, Bottle in P6, fighting hard with Kuska. This is a great battle between two of the most evenly matched. We've got a yellow flag, I believe, possibly. No, that's just the yellow boards on the top of the stands. Got a little bit excited over nothing there. I apologise to all our viewers. Bottle Job trying to hold on again off of Kuska. Let's see their relative strategies then. So Kuska is on the super soft tyre. He's used approximately maybe 15% of his fuel, maybe just less actually, maybe it's at 10%, whilst Bottle's used a little bit more, but we expect that from the Porsche. It's a little bit thirstier, so he'll be wanting to kind of short shift up through the gears if he can, try and get some of that fuel back, or maybe switch positions with Kuska and sit behind him and kind of top off that fuel saving if he can. But obviously it depends if he thinks he can kind of run and hide at this point. Switch back over to the standings as they are side by side. A great move there by Kuska, late move down the inside. And currently the field is fairly stretched out. Berkey there just behind, with Gadget, who's finally getting past Jaggernaut. But whether or not Jaggernaut can get back past him through this section, we don't know. This is it's an interesting combination of a wounded Mazda against the TSO 50, which is not as good in a straight line. Of course, last season the LMP hybrids were the class to have. This time round it looks like maybe, at least for this race, it's different. We're going to jump back to the front. That gap at the front has jumped out to us 3.8 seconds. So a great run there for Spooky. Bubo there in second with Ronin. And oh, looks like there's been contact maybe there. Let's have a look back. After they sort themselves out. That is TX3 Jack now up into the P3 spot. So we're going to take a quick look back. No, we're not, because the replay camera has unfortunately decided to go awry. Let's see if we can fix that, everybody. I apologise. Let's just see if we can get that working again for you all. No, unfortunately the replay camera has now broken, so we won't be able to get any replays. But Ricey up to third again, Ronin in fourth. TX3 Jack has dropped back again. I want to check if Jack's got damage. No, he doesn't, but he is on those soft tyres, and that could be crucial. This time Kuska leads from Bottle, who's used an absolute chomper of fuel on that lap. So really, there's quite a big difference in fuel suddenly between those two drivers. Berkey is looking fairly comfortable, but he has got Gadget bearing down on him now. So he's going to have to keep it tight. But he's got damage. Berkey has got damage on that front left-hand corner. That's why he's dropped off the back of Bottle. Just trying to work out why the gap had jumped out there and why Gadget is falling, kind of clutching back in towards him. In the 8th position. Meanwhile, Jaggernaut and Muller bring up the rear in those TSO 50s. Spooky has lost half a second on that lap though to Bubo. Or maybe just under, maybe 3/10 or so. Bubo is putting in his best lap so far. Here's Spooky now thinking about kind of backing it off a little bit. Use a little bit less fuel. They're very similar on fuel right now. And TX3 Jack a few seconds behind with Ronin right behind him. Nope. We've got the wrong view there. There we go. That's the view we wanted. So, Jack has managed to get ahead of Ronin there, and Ronin is looks like he just let Ricey through there. I'm not really sure why. Ricey still carrying that damage, of course, from lap 1. Is definitely suffering with pace, dropped off a long way. And our pole sitter now really needs to knuckle down, try and get himself back into this race. Bottle Job now has taken back air. Where has Kuska gone? Kuska doesn't have damage. Looks like Kuska has pitted early. Maybe he picked up damage. We missed that one on stream. Maybe the replay camera... No, the replay camera doesn't like us. So Kuska has dropped all the way to the back, and he's now 41 seconds off the lead, 20 seconds off the back of Muller. So that must have been a hefty hit. We did not see that on the replay. I do apologise. Now Berkey with that damage, getting under attack from Jaggernaut. who of course hasn't got any damage on that car. We're going to go on board if we can with the Donuts for Donuts driver. Oh, we've absolutely made a mess of that. There we go. Bit better job there. And there is Jaggernet. He's just got more straight line speed at this point without the damage, but Berkey's going to tuck back into that slipstream. But he can't pull back out because the moment he hits the unslipstream air, he just drops all the speed off. So he's going to have to sit in behind and recover after that early damage. Oh, see the understeer there. Now, in a weird way, luckily he hit the wall in the same place as where he hit it before. But now Miller's going to have a chance to check back up. So we're going to come back to our leaders now. Spooky Lukey. The gap has stayed around the same 3.5 seconds. Tyre wear is similar between the two drivers, so this gap has stayed very similar. TX3 Jack not making many inroads at the moment, but he is on the soft tyre, so he may be stronger later in the race. So as we head through the hairpin another time, of course this car is rear-wheel drive, so Jack has to be a little more careful on the power. And that's probably why he's running those soft tyres. Meanwhile, Ronin has really started to drop off the back now. With that LMP, and he's now pulling into the pits. He got damage on that lap. So that's another car in the wall to get damage and now having to get repairs. New set of Michelin tyres go on that car. A splash of fuel. And where's he going? He's all the way down towards the back, and that really shows you the damage having an effect on people's races. That's down towards the back. I mean, a long way ahead of Kuska, who seems to have really taken a lot of time loss. He had a 2-minute 5 lap, compared that to Ronin with 1:52, so Kuska really hit that wall hard. Back at the front, Spooky Lukey. 3 seconds in the lead, lost a couple of tenths this time to Bubo. He's going to have to be careful. Bubo seems to be getting faster and faster as this stint comes along. Well, Spooky might have taken a little bit too much out of his tyres. Bubo is looking quick, and he's one of those drivers that he really doesn't give you an inch. He will fight you very, very hard. He's got him a few wraps on the knuckles so far, but will this be able to have a chance to make a decisive move for a lead? And with all those incidents, of course, Sir Bottlejob is now the Class B leader. Gadget, who's still got that damage, bear in mind, from that early race incident, is up to P6 now and closing down Bottlejob. Thanks to that massive top speed advantage, even with the damage, and he'll be able to recover probably quite comfortably back to P5 and be on the tail end of the Class A lead. But this so far is going very well for Bottlejob. He's kind of keeping a level head. Definitely needs to look after that fuel though. Brycey, of course, was on the pole, but now with that damage is really kind of just trying to hold on now till he can get it repaired, and maybe then he can make a charge for TX3 Jack, who's not really putting much pressure on the those ahead. Of course, our X-Series champion, sponsored by Halfords, of course. Other auto parts stores are available. I see in 4th position. We're just going to jump back to Jaggernaut. That lovely green and white livery. Berkey with Ronin right up behind him, and Ronin is known for his aggressive manoeuvres. Let's see what happens between Berkey and Ronan. Go on board now. Look at the difference in the straight line speed. Berkey covers off that inside line, but I don't think he's going to be able to hold on for long. Will he try and hold it down the inside? Oh, no contact. But that long way around the outside, it's going to be against the hybrid power. And there goes that hybrid power straight into the wheels. But of course that damage on the front wing and the hybrid runs out. And Berkey has decided it's time to come into the pits. Muller's also pitted as well. It's slightly earlier than expected. These guys are now onto a 3-stop strategy. Going to be a fight between the crews. Anyone taking on fuel? So Muller is taking on fuel. Berkey's taking a lot of fuel on board, but he's also got damage repairs to do, which he did not do. Berkey has pitted and not repaired the damage. That's a bizarre one. We'll have to find out after the race to see what happened there. At the front, Spooky Lukey. Gap still at around 3 seconds between himself and Bubo. And Bubo definitely putting in better. Well, they're very similar on lap time. Bubo goes wide there. So those tyres are starting to let him down. Will either of these two now pit? Or are they going for a 2-stop or even maybe a 1-stop strategy? The 1-stop was looking very likely if this race had been rain affected. Will either of them pit? Spooky stays out. And Bubo is mirroring him. I think their problem they're probably got is TX3 Jack and Ricey aren't quite far enough away, and actually it's possible that Bottle Job would actually be the kind of the kingmaker at this point. Bubo can't go for the undercut because he's about 3 seconds behind, and Bottle Job is 22 seconds behind Spooky, so that's effectively 19 seconds gap. The pit stop is around 20 seconds. Gadget pits this time, so he will be repairing that damage and expect that car to be flying after that pit stop. Is Berkey going to come back round this time to fix that damage? No. That's very bizarre. Unless that is a graphical error and he's not actually got any damage, but you never know. So, like I was saying, so Bottle Job is kind of the kingmaker here. Now the gap is up to 25 seconds. Now we may see possibly an early pit stop from Bubo going for that undercut strategy. This is where I would be expecting to see it. Here we go, heading down. Let's see, yes, Spooky is in this time. Bubo stays out, so it's actually the opposite way round. And like I said, I think this is going to work out just because Bottle Job is going to be... So Spooky comes out now. He's now clear of the pit lane. TX3 Jack has just gone through. The gap is around 12 seconds. DJ's coming in, so that's going to help Spooky out. And actually, that gap's not as... That pit stop time is not as long as I thought it was going to be. It's only be around 14 seconds, maybe 14 and a half seconds by the time it comes into turn 1 and all is square again. He had a 3-second gap, so it's about 17-second pit stop, which is a little bit less than I expected. Bottle Job is a long way back, but up into P4 now. Interested to see how the gap develops between these two. Ronan is now past Jaggernaut. He is flying. He's got great pace. He's currently actually got the fastest lap of the race in that 9:08. So a lot of pace in that car. It just maybe can't sustain it for very long. Jaggernaut, you've seen keeping it clean so far on that original set of super soft tyres. He's got just over 50% fuel. Gadget, who's repaired that rear wing damage, which hamstruck him at the start. Real shame for him. Yeah, he's currently purple. So that really shows the pace he could have had if he hadn't been stuck in a wall or struck in the back as he was last time we came here. Our pole sitter, Ricey, is down in 8th position. He's on an outlap. We'll see how he recovers, but it's interesting that Gadget's a long way ahead. About 3.5 seconds. Bubo's in the pits this time. Jack is going round again, so Jack is definitely going for at least a 2-stop, possibly even a 1-stop. That would be very interesting to see if he can keep it within enough pace. The gap to Bubo and Spooky has stayed fairly similar. It's probably extended a little bit. And the fuel, Bubo's also taken more fuel. But this is the battle for the lead at the moment, so we're going to stay on board. So Spooky Lukey now. Go on board with him. He's purple in sector 1 and 2. Heading through the fast chicane in 7th gear. So much more speed he could take through there with those fresh tyres. Oh, it just hangs on in that dirty air. He's lost a little bit of time against the fastest lap of the race. Takes that narrower line in because of the understeer inherent with the LM55. It never seems to want to turn in. So he's very sensibly backed this up. He's going to get him down the main straight. Not going to need to rush this or send a rash move that we have seen Spooky do a few times before. And he's lost half a second on the best lap because of that. As we see, Ronin is now past Bottlejob. Bottlejob has not suffered any damage. As we see again, the hybrid power, and this is what we didn't see from Berkey, of course, with that damage, is actually the hybrid going a little bit further away. He's getting a push now from Ronin. That's a little bit cheeky, but these two are working together, it seems. Have to see how that is looked upon by the stewards. And Spooky is unsurprisingly through. There's Bubo in P3. Ronin now takes the lead ahead of Bottlejob. No one really lost out there though, no damage, so I think that will probably not get too many raised eyebrows. Ronin now up into P4, Bottlejob in P5, Jaggernaut in P6. Long way to go in this race, over 30 minutes left. Gadget in P7, down into the 39s now, so starting to get that pace back, and more on pace to where we thought he'd be early on in the race, if he hadn't had that damage. Sorry for the slight delay there, I've just got one very quick thing to just check. Okay, we're now back. So, Spooky Lukey in P1. Purple to the first sector, unsurprisingly in the fastest car in a straight line. It's pulled a 2-second gap ahead of TX3 Jack, with Bubo Ludo in third, who is around 5 seconds off the back of Spooky. This is what we kind of expect. See, Spooky seems to have the better, the 1-lap pace. Bubo's looking after those tyres a little bit better. 10 seconds back, we have Ronin in P4 in the Peugeot 908. This is always going to be kind of the class of car which was in between the top flight VGTs, which are really going for it here, and the LMPs, which have really suffered. P5 is Bottlejob, 7 seconds ahead of Gadget. That gap will come down over the course of the race quite quickly, as he is wrapping around 1.5 to 2 seconds a lap slower than Gadget currently, just because of the older tyres and the slower car. there's those yellow lights on the Tokyo Expressway, which completely caught me out. We move back now to Gadget, who's currently just off of purple, setting possibly a new best. He actually was a second off his best, and we've just seen that we've got Jaggernaut and Ricey battling. It'd be very interesting to see if Ricey can get kind of close to maybe Gadget. And those two have a battle for either P5 or P6. And there is Ricey through on the hybrid Toyota. And for all intents and purposes, probably won't see him again. Jaggernaut's hybrid boost has now run out. It doesn't run past 150 miles an hour. Is there going to be any action with the pit lane? No. This has been great fuel mileage out of Jaggernaut. Kuska, after that early pit stop, is starting to recover in those 41s. Tyres are starting to get worn. Muller is in 10th now. Of course, on that second set of tyres. And Berkey currently bringing up the rear, 11 seconds off the back of Muller. And running around in the 44, so that damage I don't think he did repair. That's a real shame for Berkey. We're probably looking to try and drop this score from his best 6. It's back at the front. It's a 5-second gap between Jack and Bubo, and I think these two might be having an absolute ding-dong here that we've been missing as I've been talking through the field. Jack doing an absolutely stunning job of holding up Bubo and really actually helping out Spooky, but most importantly, doing a fantastic job of putting some action on that we've completely missed. And he is now past this time. What can Jack do this time? Well, I think he's a little bit far back to be able to do anything. Ronin dropping to around 10 seconds off these guys still. Great drive there by TX3 Jack, getting himself on the podium with the alternate strategy of a one-stop, helped out by a couple of the other Mazda's VGTs getting damaged, and he's managed to capitalise in that that Tomahawk, which probably was the weaker of the two cars available. We're actually watching Gadget now, who's put in some great lap times ever since he's prepared that car. Really showed he should have been in that top 3 fight. Right here, of course, our pole sitter. He's just set his best lap of the race of a 38.855, so a little bit slower, I think, than Gadget. I'm not sure, just double check. No, he's a little bit faster, actually about second faster, so Ricey is really closing back in. And we could have a fight here between these two. Of course, Bottle Chop's not far up the road. Of course, he's a couple of seconds a lap down. Because he's going for that one-stop strategy, and he's massively down on top speed. He's battling more for Jaggernaut, with Jaggernaut and maybe Ronin if Ronin makes a second error. But look at that fuel in comparison, almost out of fuel. So he's not really fighting with these guys. As we see TX3 Jack now into the pits, and this is going to be an interesting one, because this is a one-stop. He'll need, what's that? He's going to need to take on 60 litres of fuel, there or thereabouts. And these guys are going to come past. Ronin's already passed. Bottle Chop's passed. I believe Ricey will get past. Maybe even Jaggernaut. Jaggernaut will probably be a little bit far back. It's TX3 Jack. He is now accelerating up to speed. He's got to stay on that left-hand side of the road all the way out the pits. So where's he? He's come out behind Ricey. Bottle Chop now has dropped back behind Gadget, surrendering fourth position, but really that's 5th position on the road when you take into account all the pit stops that he'll be pitting probably this time by. This has been a really clean race by Bottle Chop so far. Great work, really keeping it together. He's been talking about all week about how he's been charting his improvements in Tier 1 and trying to just hammer down that consistency, improving on his improving that, and maybe being able to mount more of a title challenge in the coming seasons. Of course, he is affiliated with the M4R program, which outside of ADEC is a full team structure, but within ADEC each car's an individual entry. But he's effectively the lead M4R affiliated car, so he'll be flying that flag all season. So we'll see how he goes. Gadget, the other kind of major team owner, he's got one of his ex-teammate cars in the field. Currently in P2, of course, that's why they have such a similar livery. Of course, there's no rules against still having similar cars and having people to test with, just they can't be full teammates. As Ronin has now come in, as does Bottle Job, with a little bit of difference in fuel, but that's not exactly 10 seconds worth of difference of fuel. So Ronin will comfortably be ahead of Bottle. Taking a long slurp. As we see Kuska now up into 6th position with the help of those pitting around him, but he'll have to pit in the next maybe 4 or 5 laps, depending on how long that fuel lasts. So Bottle down to 8th, Jaggernaut in 9th, a fair 5 seconds back, but of course he will close in. You'd expect as they get up to speed. Miller in 10th, and Berkey still bringing up the rear in 11th with that damage on the left hand front corner. So the gaps have kind of stabilised. Gadget up into P3 currently, with P4 being taken by Ricey, and these two could still make it back up to P3 and P4, depends how it works with JJ, who's on a fresh set of those soft tyres. Of course, that gap is going to be quite tight, and they'll be using those super softs. Let's see what the gap is. So the gap is around 8 seconds, so if Gadget and Ricey could pull out, let's say pull out 10 seconds on Jack from where they are now, it could be possible they'd be in a striking zone where they could attack Jack on that final stop, which would be very interesting after that final stop. These guys haven't got long to do it, planning on that 2-stop strategy. Great work there by Jack, recovering. He was disappointed in the performance of this car all last season, where he felt like he picked the wrong car, but he stuck with it after changing out his Group 4 car, which he thought was doing even worse. And so far this could be rewarding him possibly with a podium, depending on how the strategies all play out. So I'm going to quickly go back on board with Kuska, who will go to ignore Ronin, just for the case of the those cars aren't quite the same, but it's very interesting. Take a look at Kuska, take a look at Bottle Job. The gap's going to be around, I think, 12 seconds. Bottle's currently on those fresh tyres, 26 minutes left of the race. He's done a couple of laps on them. Kuska is probably only got another 4 laps or so on those tyres, and is going to have to take a big drink of fuel to get to the end. So I think this gap could get swap back round, and I think Ronin will be in the P6 position with Bottle Job in P7. Kuska will be just off the back of that in P8. I think that will be probably our finishing order between these guys, but never know. Damage could play a factor. It's already played a factor in Kuska's race once, and Ronin's race. Both those cars have come in for damage at some point in this race. And then we've got Jaggernaut, a couple of seconds up the road from Muller. The TS050 seems to not quite be the car choice, even though I think it has got a slightly better top speed than the Porsche. It also unfortunately has got quite bad understeer at times, so it can be a little bit of a pig to drive. Back out in front, Spooky has got that gap up to 7 seconds now to Bubo. Bubo has taken the fastest lap, and he took that a few laps ago, possibly with the help. Oh, Spooky's just gone very deep. And he's very low on fuel as well. And Spooky's got damage. Oh my word, our race leader, Spooky Lukey, has got damage. He's got a 6-second gap, but that's going to come down quickly because front damage can be really crucifying in these cars. And Bubo really has got a chance at winning this here. I don't know if he knows this. Gadget, of course, a long way back, so if there were... he's actually going to have to pit this time. Look at that fuel. Absolutely nothing left in the tank. Was that a bit of a miscalculation, or did he try and lengthen his final stint and have a shorter middle stint to try and get ahead of someone? But Ricey is flying, by the way, in P4. He's caught that gap up really quickly. Gadget will have to pit this time. Boxed in by strategy. Ricey's got loads of fuel left in the car. But the big question now was Spooky Lukey in P1, miles out and ahead. He's going to have to pit for the damage. I would pit sooner rather than later. Get the damage done, get the fuel in the car, get your head back down, reset, regroup, and go for another stint. But at the moment, he's just going to be chucking time out the window to Bubo, driving too hard, and putting himself more likely to cause damage. I think it was through this corner here on the previous lap. He's losing about a second a lap, maybe? Have to see. It's either that or... No, I think that must be it, because this is a right-hander coming up. And he wouldn't have damaged the inside wheel there. So I think Bubo's in a pound seat here. Damage will take around 4... Maybe 3 seconds to repair on top of his pit stop time. Spooky has currently got a 4.5 second gap. And the gap to Ricey is 25 seconds. Now they're both going to have to take fuel. But I think Spooky's throwing this away here. He needs to pit soon. He can make the tyres last an extra 2 laps. But at the moment, the damage he's doing to that, to his lead that he's built up, it was 7 seconds, remember. 7 seconds 2 laps ago. He's lost a second and a half. And Bubo is knowing this, and he's going to be screaming after him. He can see him. Let's go on board with him down into T1. Down into third gear. Nice line through there. Got to wait to get on that power. Little touch on the wall. Little bit of understeer there from that Mazda's interesting front aerodynamics. As we head up towards the fast left-hander. This isn't really a proper corner. It's flat out. Then you've got to be flat. But you've got to wait. Turn in quite late to this corner to get yourself set up for the hardest corner on the track. Or the most dangerous corner on the track. 6th gear. They were going through there in 7th when they had fresh tyres, remember. 7th. Back up to 8th. Just going to jump off this. Kuska is now pitting. Bottle Job 11 seconds behind, but he's got fuel to go to the end, so we'll expect Kuska to come out possibly behind Jagannat. But Jagannat's fuel to the end. Muller is not. Muller is pitting this time. And Berkey, who is a long way off the lead, a long way off the 2 ahead, he too may have to pit for fresh tyres. He's got Spooky behind him coming up to lap him. That's not unexpected with 20 laps in. Or 23 laps in. But here's the thing that matters. Spooky pits. Does Bubo follow? Bubo stays out again. We saw this the first time around, but he's hardly got any more fuel. So he'll probably be in next time. But he's got to get that damage repaired. If Spooky makes a mess of this pit stop, he's done himself right in. He's got to get that fuel. Where is Ricey? I don't think Ricey's going to have an impact on this. I think it's between Bubo and Spooky. Ricey will have to pit again as well, so I think Jack's going to have done enough to be okay. Because we saw Gadget pit not long ago. It took that much. Wow, that's a lot of fuel. Ronin in P5. Plenty of fuel left in the car. Being chased down by Gadget. Bubo has to make sure he doesn't make a mistake. He's got back marker there of, I think, Muller. Yes, it is Muller. So that's going to slow him down on this lap. And that's going to help Spooky out. Actually, it depends where he catches him. Change to the other camera. Muller is one of the hardest people to pass as well. Even under blue flags, he will keep himself right on the limit of what's considered acceptable. But here we go. That's that hybrid again, stopping anyone getting past. Will Rockboy pit? Or Booba Lubo pit? Yes, he does. So, 25 seconds is the gap. Spooky coming through the final section now. I think Boobo's going to have this. Here comes the fuel. Of course, Boobo's going to need less fuel. There he goes. He's out. Spooky's at full speed. It's going to be so close. It's coming out the tunnel now. There's the end of the tunnel for Spooky. He's closing him in, but I think Boobo's done it. That damage has absolutely cost Spooky, and he's going to be kicking himself. He had a chance to take his third win. He's got less good tyres now for the rest of the race, but he has shown he is that little bit quicker at the start. So here we go. It's time for an absolute classic end to this race. 18 minutes left. We've got a battle for the lead. No more pit stops. No fuel to worry about. These two should be fueled to the end, and it's going to be an absolute classic to the finish, I'm sure. We saw this last time we came here with the race coming down to the last lap, the last corner in the wet between C.S. Smith and Plucks the Duck. And now it is another titanic fight. And Boobo, of course, had the understeery dirty air at the start of the race, and I think he's slightly pulling away through that section. Definitely that dirty air is affecting Spooky, but he's going to have to keep it close. If he can stay within that magical 0.8 tenths of a range into the onto the main straight, then he's got a really good chance of getting that lead back. He knows he's a little bit quicker at this point. Boobo's gone a little bit wide, but I do think they've got slightly different lines, and Boobo's maximised his exit there. A great exit. He's managed to pull half a second almost over the course of about 3 corners. He pulled 3/10 out the corner. Spooky didn't quite think that one through, I don't think. He's allowed himself to be outside of that magic 0.8 slipstream range. And Boobo's pulled a masterstroke there. He broke late, took the wide line in and got the power down well in that 4-wheel drive LM55. And Spooky was taking the conventional racing line but didn't get the power on well. So now he's going to have to do it all over again. Meanwhile, just quickly, Ronin is in P4 with Ricey just behind her. Ricey's pitted, and he is about 13 seconds behind TX3 Jack. So we'll have to see how the lap times continue to go down, but I think we've got around what have we got? 17 minutes left in the race, 1 minute 40 lap time. Probably got maybe 10 laps, just over 10 laps left of this race, and currently the lap times, well, he pitted last time around so we won't know, but at least a second a lap quicker, so he's not going to quite make it unless Jack's lap times really start to fall off a cliff. This has been a really good drive between those two, but we're going to jump back to the front. It's back down to less than a second. So, will Boobo go for that wide line again? Not as much. Maybe he felt protected from it. What I have noticed actually, yes, Spooky did get the better run this time. Will he be close enough? He's in the zone. He'll get that slipstream, and I think Boobo didn't quite get that right this time. What matters though is, can Spooky get close enough? Remember, that car gets to about 225 miles an hour out of the slipstream. Can he have enough overspeed to really get past him? Have to see what it says. 225, 200. No, he's maxing out. That is the top speed of the car. The slipstream isn't going to be enough if he's around 8 tenths. There's a car up ahead that's blue flags, I think. Yes, there is. So who's that ahead of them? It is Berkey. Berkey's going to have to make sure he doesn't affect the leader's battle. I'm sure he won't. I'm sure he'll jump out the way as soon as he's required to. But Spooky is right on Boobo's tail. We go back on board. We're going to watch from behind. here's the long... Yeah, you see, this is again... Spooky gets close. Then we get to this section. Berkey there pulling out the way at a very sensible place. Good work there from Berkey. Oh, but Spooky got a great run through this time. He goes down the outside. Bubo forces him round the outside. Is he going to leave him enough space? He is. But they're trying to fight for the same bit of track almost. But Bubo knows that he's now going to have to just basically accept losing the position. You cannot defend all the way up the hill. It's just not possible. But I think Spooky might have timed that a bit early. Or is he dress rehearsing this? He didn't make it past before the line. That's really important to note. But Spooky didn't make it past before the line. Here they go. Bubo on the inside. Of course, he never gave that up. Spooky trying to go around all the way around the outside. Oh, a little bit of contact there between the two of them. And then more contact there. Bubo forcing Spooky towards the wall. That was a little bit over-aggressive, I think. Definitely a little bit over-aggressive. That wasn't needed. Spooky now trying to hold it all the way around the outside again. Oh, I apologise. There we go. Camera working as per usual. Spooky Lukey. Gap is a minuscule amount, just a slither. Oh, but there's the wash, the lovely understeery wash when you're in that dirty air. And now it goes very deep into there. This is where he set himself up last time. Maybe this time he's going for a slightly longer run back, but he's half a second back this time. And we know Bubo is good into that hairpin section. But Spooky's got to make sure he doesn't overdo his tyres, doesn't wear them out. He's in the zone again, but I don't think he's close enough. He needs to be at about 4/10. I think that's the perfect range. But we're going to take this chance to just quickly jump back on board with the rest of the field. So in third place is TX3 Jack, having a fantastic drive. Ronin in P4, a great drive with Rice not far behind on fresh tyres, and Gadget not far behind him. Those two having recovered very well. I expect them to close back into Ronin very soon. Bottle Job, the best of Class B. In the LMP Hybrid, a couple of seconds up the road from Kuska. That gap's come down a little bit quicker than I expected. Kuska on those fresher tyres, really putting in the lap times. 2 seconds faster than Bottle Job was last time, so Kuska might get this back. Then we've got Jagana in 9th, Muller in 10th, and as we know, Berkey in 11th. Having fixed that damage finally. Now actually setting some pretty competitive lap times in the 140s. A fair bit quicker than both Jagannath and Muller's best. But back on board with the leaders. Another lap has gone by. Let's see what Spooky can do this time. Half a second back, we've seen this before. Can he close up? Can he make it work? He needs to go for that wider line and get the exit. No. Bubo again getting the better line, and Bubo might have won this race if he is not careful. Just going to have to check one thing. Unfortunately, the screen will go blank for a moment. There we go, we're now back on air. I apologise for that. I just realised there was a setting that was incorrect. But we are back on board with the leaders. And Spooky goes for the big dive down the inside. That was very, very bold. Unbelievably bold there from Spooky. We've seen him do some bold moves before around the Nürburgring. Oh, Spooky understeering wide. He knows he's getting desperate now. He's fallen outside a second now, and I think he might have used that as his last gasp challenge. I really do. He knows his tyre wear hasn't been as good as Bubo, or at least he hasn't run as well as Bubo has on the old tyres. He's got a decent exit there, but I think Bubo might have just broken him there. I do apologise, Gary. I realised there was a setting that was going to interrupt the stream, and I didn't want that to come up. So I do apologise for that, Gary. As we're listening to the bang bang sound of the cars bouncing over the sections of the Tokyo Expressway. Somehow, I just want to point out, Ricey is still behind Ronin. Ronin has done an incredible job there in P4, in a car which, in my opinion, should not have a chance of being up there. What a fantastic drive, and Jack is not far ahead. They are flying behind him. Jack seems to have really lost the pace, and this is still a battle for P3. This is incredible. Ronin has plugged away in that Peugeot and really showing that swapping to it was an inspired decision, because it should go well at Sinqua C as well. And that really could set him up well. He's dragging Ricey and Gadget along with him, and if Jack isn't careful, he could find himself in P4, P5 or P6. Bear in mind, Kuska has now got ahead of Bottle Job, which were not too unexpected, with relative difference in their tyres. Jaganat in P9, setting a 41.1 as his fastest lap time. And there is Muller with the leaders just behind. Back in those 38s, so Spooky's challenge starting to fade, I think, and Bubo really could pull this off. Oh, but he's hit the wall! Gets away with it, no damage! Absolutely blessed luck there. Got those blue flags coming up, but our race leader, who has been driving an absolute storm, Spooky Looky, has taken fastest lap of him though. So currently Bubo is in position to get the 100 points, with Spooky getting the bonus 4 points for fastest lap. And of course Ricey, who's now got ahead of Ronin. I've cut away at a bad time. These two need to make sure they don't push themselves too hard. They've got about 4 laps to get to Jack, who's only 2 seconds ahead of them. If they don't fight, there's a podium there. They've got to be disciplined here. Now, I wonder if Ronin got caught in a slipstream and just let him through, because they've got to be sensible here. Gadget's the same. They've all got to be sensible here, because they really could cost themselves. Because that podium is there, hanging out there like a tasty morsel. It's about 2.5 seconds, and Jack, give him his due, is driving an absolutely cracking race. Hanging out there on the one stop on tyres which are ancient. Those softs have been tortured around this track. And Ricey, 2.3 seconds. He's going to close in a little bit down the straight. I expect Ronin has made a mistake. He's got damage to Ronin, who I was about to say is likely to be my pick for driver of the day. He now pits her. He's out of it. He's out of any chance of getting that podium place. He's damaged the car, made a mistake, and annoyingly the replay function is broken. I don't know why. Bear in mind, Bubo, just quickly go back to the leaders. Bubo is now really starting to stretch that advantage And Spooky is going to be fuming at Muller there. Getting right in the way of the lead fight. I would not be surprised if there were some harsh words said after that. Muller should have been a little bit more aware there. He's not in a fight for any sort of position. And he definitely should have got out of the way a bit more, because that's had a fairly big effect on that gap. Oh, a little bit of lag there for Rockboy. That's just what you want. So we're going to jump back on board with Jack. It is 2 seconds to Ricey. Ricey, whose tyres are much fresher. He's got to find a way back past. Gadget's only 1.6 seconds. But they're still 2 seconds off Jack. Those tyres are made of magic or something. Because how is Jack keeping that car behind? Ricey should be all over him by now. He's got to dig deep. He's got to find that pace. He should be all over him. He's got to be at least a second quicker than him. It's half a second he took out of him on the exit because he's got those better tyres and the four-wheel drive system. The pace difference between these two cars should be huge. The fact it's not is a testament to how hard Jack is driving that car. What would be quite interesting, actually, I actually haven't checked. The relative fuel loads are actually identical between the three cars, because Gadget isn't far behind. If those two in front have a bit of a ding-dong battle, they've still got a chance at something here. Bubo is now pulling away to around 3 seconds margin, so really he has streaked away right at the end, and Spooky is gonna be kicking himself for that damage. I'd love to find out exactly what happened there. And Spooky's got damage again. Oh, it's all gone wrong for Spooky right at the end. Right when he needed to keep it clean, he's thrown it in a wall, pushing too hard. He will get the P2, but that could have been a lot more, and he probably knows it. And another one. Ricey and Gadget have fallen off the back of Jack again. This Dodge is made of magic. It's barely worn those tyres in the last 3 or 4 laps. There's 2 laps to go. They're going to get to lap 36. And genuinely, I think Jack's going to hold on. The 2 cars behind just haven't been able to close it in. So we've got Jack in P3, Ricey P4, Gadget P5, Ronin a long way back in P6, but he has now stolen that fastest lap of the race, which is not to be too unexpected. We have Kuska P7, and Pottle, who is doing a pretty good job to hang on there in P8. Jaganat in P9, fair way off the back of those ahead of him. Muller away, oh god, wrong button, sorry. Muller there in the Acelith Design sponsored car to set his best lap of the race of 41.5. And Berkey in P11, who's screaming those tyres around the corner. In the Donuts for Donuts car. So, on to the final lap of the race for Bubo Lubo or Rockboy. He's staring down the barrel of his first Tier 1 win. He's got a 5-second gap. He can back this off. Doesn't have to push too hard. Just get it home and he will have his first Tier 1 triumph. He's driven a great race. He wasn't the overall probably the quickest car, but he was really consistent, kept it out the wall, and that was always going to be a key here at Tokyo. If you hit those walls, you're going to get damage. especially in these cars, which are so fragile and so fast. And he's a well-deserved winner. He's done what you have to do in an endurance race, which is keep your nose clean, be fast when you need to, but look after the tyres. And he's done a fantastic job. And we're going to watch him through the final hairpin. Here at sunny Tokyo. Here we go for the final time. We will have Bubo Lubo cross the lap for a maiden Acelith Design Endurance Championship Tier 1 victory goes to Bubo Lubo. Spooky Lukey, unfortunate couple of incidents really cost him, but P2 is a great start. And then we've got JJ, who's managed a Herculean effort. Absolutely incredible drive. A one-stop in that Tomahawk. He's going to be rewarded with a well-deserved P3. Didn't have the best car. He set his best lap of the race on lap 34. Just found it. Ricey, our pole sitter, great recovery. Same with Gadget. Fantastic recovery drives. Ronan will be our last car across the drive, so we'll just confirm the rest. Cusker in P7. Bottle in P8. Janganet in P9. Muller in P10. And Berkey in P11. And there is Ronan, who's waiting on the line. Not really sure why he's waiting on the line. Didn't run out of fuel. He's just rolling. I've just had a Rock Boy pop up in the chat. Fantastic job there. Congratulations on your first Tier 1 victory, mate. And Ronan finally finishes. Not really sure why he waited for so long, but there's our finishing order. Fantastic work from everybody involved. That was a fantastic drive. Really interesting to see how different cars performed, and I'm just going to grab those screenshots required. And then we'll see if anyone wants to do any post-race interviews. So the screen will go blank just for a moment, guys. I'll be back in just a moment. Yes, so just to quickly come back onto actually talking, as this is my job for the evening. Wes, congratulations, Jack. I know you didn't think the car was particularly good on pace. It was actually pretty darn fast, but it was amazing on those tyres. And congratulations for your first race on the new wheel. I'm sure you loved it. I definitely enjoy my wheel, so I'm sure you're getting great use out of it. And yeah. What a fantastic race from all. So we've got a yes from Bubo. So we'll get him in a minute. Just going to see if anyone else from the P3 is P3 and P2 are interested for an interview. If not, I shall open it up to some other members of the lobby. Okay, so we're going to start with our P3 driver. Now I've just got to make sure the settings are correct, so give me just a moment. So that should make this correct. So just give me a second, guys. See who's interested in a chat first. So it should be TX3 Jack coming up first. Okay, so let's just wait for TX3 Jack to get in, and I also will quickly invite into the party Spooky Lukey for a moment. Hey Boobo, so we're going to start with Jack. I've invited everyone in at the same time, just for ease of getting everybody into the press conference. So I'm just going to find Spooky Lukey, and we'll have everyone there in just a moment. And I shall think of some questions. So, Jack, congratulations on P3 in what was probably not the best car for the track, but you did a hell of a job, looked after those tyres very well, which has always been a small kind of Achilles heel when you were on the pad. So how do you feel? You there, Jack?
Can you do someone else first? The headphones aren't working properly.
Oh, I'm getting you loud and clear now.
You keep, like, cutting out.
Oh.
Like, I can't tell what you're saying because you keep breaking up.
Okay, then we shall move up one space on the podium and start with yourself, Spooky. Obviously, probably not quite the result you wanted after what looked like a very strong opening half an hour of the race. What happened with that first incident?
I was just trying to push a little bit too much out of myself in the car. Just made that silly little mistake and got some damage. Looking back, I probably should have pitted a lap earlier and tried to get that sorted. Possibly would have got out ahead. But then, of course, I didn't, and then made the same mistake later on in the race.
Yeah, it did look like you left it a couple of laps too late, and because of that, of course, you also had to pit a lap earlier than Bubo, and therefore had the older tyres. You were really giving it as much as you could, though, and I could see there was some desperation setting in at some point with that late lunge into the fast chicane. Was it really a case of this was the last chance on those tyres, or were you thinking you could still hang with him?
I was hoping I might have been able to keep up, but them fresher tyres and the lower fuel, I realised I probably wouldn't be able to. I was hoping maybe to get a nose alongside and cause some issues with his line, but just wasn't anywhere near enough to get anything done.
We spotted, just before kind of the gap opened up, we spotted you were stuck behind Muller through the fast section. Did that hinder you? Did that allow that gap to open up more than it was, or was that kind of an inconsequential issue by that point?
I feel like it did open the gap up a little bit, but it wasn't anywhere near enough to have affected it at all. It was only a couple of tenths lost, and it was about a 4.5 second gap by then, and I realised I just couldn't be able to catch. I was going to be happy to settle for a second place at that point.
Yeah, I mean, you drove a great race, a couple of small errors, but overall a great start to a sophomore campaign in the top split. Is this going to be you pushing towards a championship fight this time? Now you've set yourself up in a really strong position.
I'm going to be pushing to see how high I can get in the championship. If I can get a season win, I'll be very happy. But of course, we've got Jack, we've got Bubo, we've got Blue, we've got Cusker. I don't think I'm going to be able to get many wins. I don't think podiums might be a push. However, if I can get on the podium of the season championship, I will be very happy.
That's fair enough. So, looking at the calendar, is there any particular race you think you're going to be strong at after this one? Because obviously you knew you had a good car for this track.
Yeah, this track I was feeling quite confident heading into. Other tracks, possibly not so much. The Group 2s I always feel most comfortable in. So hopefully I'll be able to pull something off at Brands Hatch. I do absolutely love that track. And
Yep.
possibly be able to do something at Suzuka as well.
Yes. Suzuka, I believe, is the Group 4 round, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is
Yes.
the Group 4.
And you'll be back in the mega fast but interesting on tyres Audi.
No, I swapped that out, actually.
No, you did actually, yes. I am incorrect.
I swapped it out back for the Jag.
Which has just had a power decrease. Yay. Anyway,
Yes.
Congratulations on P2. And I shall let you rest and look forward to next week. And we'll go back to TX3 Jack and see if his headphone issues have resolved themselves.
Right, thank you, boss.
Yeah, it's better now.
Yay! Excellent. So, Jack, congratulations on P3 in a car which was not exactly perfect for this track. It was always going to be fairly strong, I think. It had good top speed, and this track is all about keeping that average speed up. But of course, most importantly, it's your first race on the wheel. How do you feel like you coped?
Well, the tyre was definitely easy to manage, and you get less wear on them and stuff, so it helps with that. But I don't think I'm still 100% up to my pad pace yet.
Absolutely, that's fair enough. It takes a while to completely swap over. Going into the race, did you think you were going to be able to get P3, or did you think it was kind of hoping to be best of the rest in the VGTs? And when you saw the incidents before our pole sitter and Gadget, did you think that was your really good chance to get on?
Well, once I saw what happened to Gadget, I thought I had a chance of at least the top 5, so Ronin was a bit crazy though. He completely punted Gadget the hairpin. That's why he got damaged.
Okay, we missed that. I just saw a Mazda-shaped vehicle spearing towards the wall, but I couldn't see who it was, because there's, of course, Rockboy and Gadget have very similar liveries, and Ricey's isn't too far off. That kind of dark carbon look. The three cars all look very similar, so I could tell it was a Mazda and it was a dark coloured one, but I didn't know which one it was, and unfortunately the replay function broke quite early on into the race. So we couldn't go back and we couldn't get that angle. So it's really good to know. We'll see if anything comes to that, because there was a driver's briefing, of course, on being careful into that hairpin on lap 1. So looking ahead, I asked this question, of course, to Spooky, and I probably asked this also to Bubo. Is where do you think you're going to be strong across the calendar?
Well, the McLaren was one of the best Group 4 cars, and it's got nice handling. That's why I decided to change to Group 4 instead of the Group 1. And then it had the nerf this morning, so that's probably not going to be as good now. But I'll say, however you say it, round 2 is one of my best tracks, and it's in the AMG, which is pretty good. So round 2, I've got a good chance, I think.
It's always a good choice, the Mercedes, if you don't mind the understeer. It's got good balance, it's good power. Like I say, if you don't mind the understeery feeling to it, it's got good handling. It's very balanced. It's just not very on the nose, and of course you used it to good effect last season at Red Bull, and to be fair, at Bathurst until that unfortunate incident with the pit lane entry. So
yeah, it's it's a good overall car. It isn't like it's never OP, but it's never really bad either. So it's just a good overall. Not bad on tyre wear or fuel either. So.
And of course, that's going to be improved now with you moving to the wheel. So I guess to go with that, obviously you lost the title last season. Are you looking to try and bounce back and take it back straight away? Do you think that's the overall plan, or do you think maybe some of the new blood in Tier 1 is going to make that difficult for you?
Well, the season where before last season it was only like me and you who was at the top consistently, but there's like Spooky and Boobo have definitely improved a lot, so there'll be a challenge for me for sure. And Bottle Job maybe, I'm not sure. I haven't really taken notice of anyone. Obviously Spooky and Boobo beat me today, so.
Well, we look forward to finding out how it all pans out over the season. I shall be streaming a few of the races. I haven't committed to doing all of them, but I'll drop in there and thereabouts and catch up on the season. And yeah, again, congratulations. I think, to be fair, you're my driver of the race. It was between you and Ronan, but Ronan made that error near the end. But just holding off Ricey and Gadget at the end, that was truly brilliant. I was convinced they were going to get you. So that's by far the drive of the day for me, is managing those tyres for 30 minutes and keeping two, in my opinion, quicker cars than yourself on 1 lap pace behind for so long. It's a fantastic drive, and you should really be pleased with that. So yeah, I'm gonna wish you a good evening and move on to our race winner.
Hi.
Hey bud, congratulations, welcome to the Tier 1 Victor's Circle. It's been a long time coming. You've been a part of the series for a while. I joined Season 4 or Season 3 last year, I can't remember exactly. But
I think it was Season 3?
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. You've done a lot of races, and obviously last season it kind of was a bit of an up and down season. You had some good results in places, especially in Group 1 seemed to be where you really slotted in. And of course the Nürburgring race we don't really know because of course we lost half the field. But I feel like you've come on strength to strength, and it's really shown tonight. Great drive, kept it out the wall, with brilliant on tyres. You managed them better than Spooky. So really great job, great all-round performance. Set a couple of fastest laps. Of course, Ronan pitted late to steal it away from you, along with Spooky, I think, did when he was chasing after you in your slipstream. But really, what's the emotion? What's the feeling after getting your first win?
Really happy. Waited for this a long time. And I remember even last season in one occasion, I think, in the GR2 race on Dragon Tail, I was just praying that Spooky makes a mistake so I can win. But it never happened, so still, better late than never. Really happy.
Nope, it all has to come together sometimes. Tier 1 is a different animal to the lower tiers, and it can really just fall into your lap sometimes. I've watched a lot of these races, taken part in far too many as well, and yeah, sometimes they drop into your lap when someone in front makes the error, or you just keep the pressure on until they make a mistake. I was, like I say, really impressed with how you looked after your tyres and conserved the grip within, especially the front tyres, a lot better than Spooky. Did you work out early on that you were going to have better tyre life at the end of the stint compared to him?
from what I was able to see from the first stint, the last two ups I had much better grip than him, but I didn't expect him I didn't expect to be able to jump him in the pits. I was expecting to go out behind him and to have to chase him again to the end.
So you weren't aware of the fact that he clipped a wall and got the damage?
No, I just at the end of that scene I didn't look the timetable once. I was just driving as fast as I can.
Sometimes it's the best plan is just to be focused on your own race, one corner at a time, and just don't think about what's around you. You had a big gap to those behind, and it was just about working the forward. So I've asked this question to the other two. It's the advantage of it being the first race of the season. And looking at what's coming in the next few rounds, where do you think you're going to be strong? Is there any particular race you're looking forward to? And then after that, who do you think your main rivals are going to be for the season?
There are two races I'm looking forward to, and one of them is on my favorite track, and the other one is on my favorite car. The first one is on Suzuka. Just so fun to drive around there. But with the nerf of the McLaren, I'm not sure what will I do. And the other one is Group 2 Maggiore, because I think the Honda will feel great around there.
I think it will. And it would be really nice actually to take the Group 2s. It is the other way round compared to the original first time we went there when the series started in 2019. But it'll be really interesting to see those cars back at that layout, even if it's the wrong way round. And Suzuka, I think a lot of people are looking forward to that. It was a cracking race when we ran it in 2019 with that class. It went down to the final corner on the final lap. So yeah, it should be another cracking race. Of course, things have moved on since then. The pace has got so much faster. So, like I said, who do you think is going to be your main rivals throughout the season? Do you think you can make a championship push, or do you think that's still maybe one step? You're one step away from that at this point.
I think for a championship it's too soon to call anything, but I think it's too soon for me to be able to do that. I need to learn a lot more to be able to compete with people like Jack and Bull that just generally have more pace, so I need to work out more on my strategy and my management of tires and fuel. For main rivals, the ones I stick from when I met them, Spooky and Boto, we have moved from always around the same pace, and I think they're a good comparison for me about how I move in my progress.
I think that's a good pick. I think all of those, everything you said, that statement was bang on. Definitely. I think Bottle and Spooky and you have kind of come up slightly different times, but over the course of kind of the back half of last season or last year, kind of really came up at the same sort of time, always against each other, always in similar-ish cars, and kind of pushed each other on, and it's carried on into Tier 1. Today you had the best car combination to the track, but at other tracks, that will shift, and I think we'll see where, but especially at Group 2, I think we'll see kind of the best balance between you three. You all seem to go well in Group 2, and we'll see how that goes at Brands Hatch and at Majority GP2. So I'm going to let you go. Congratulations again on your first win in Tier 1, and I look forward to seeing how you go throughout the rest of the season. And yeah, best of luck.
Thanks. Can't wait to see more of your commentating.
Thank you very much. Hopefully it wasn't too shambolic. Anyway,
have a nice night.
Yeah, you too. Enjoy your win. So that is that from all of our podium position winners. congratulations to everyone who took part, and once again this has been the Acelith Design Endurance Championship round 1. If you want to get involved with the series, get in touch with myself or series owner Gadget334 and they can point you in the right direction. We have 3 tiers currently, and we're always looking to get more people involved. Also check out our sponsor Acelith Design. They provide wheel rim upgrades for Logitech, Thrustmaster and wheel rims for Fanatec, and you can get a discount code through being a member of ADEC. So thank you very much, and catch you all again soon.